All right, good morning, travel partners. My name is Niels Lindstedt. I am the head of sales and trade support for Azamara. Thank you for joining us today for this exclusive interview with Larry Pimentel and James Shillinglaw. So just a reminder, everyone is muted, so if you do have any questions, please note them in the Q&A section of the platform, and at the end of the interview, we will answer as many as we can. Please do check your audio levels. The audio may be dependent on your internet bandwidth. Again, if you are having any issues, just please send a private chat to Corey, and she will assist you. I'm sure you are all wondering, what is the industry-changing announcement? So, without further delay, I want to introduce James Shillinglaw of Insider Travel Report and Larry Pimentel, President and CEO of Azamara.
Hi, this is James Shillinglaw of Insider Travel Report. I'm here with Larry Pimentel, who is President and CEO of Azamara. And you'll note I say Azamara because that's part of what this big announcement is all about. And we're going to find out all that and more in this interview. Now, Larry, let's first talk about that. I do understand you have a few big announcements to make about Azamara Club Cruises, so let's get right to it. First, you're changing the name a bit. What is it going to be, and why are you making the change roughly a decade after you did change the name to Azamara Club Cruises?
James, it was about a decade ago in 2010 that we adapted the name Azamara Club Cruises, and during the process of time, we began to focus on something very unique and quite differentiated, actually, in passenger shipping. It was destination immersion, and what that meant was longer stays, more overnights, and night touring at the time, and this was really a product designed for people who love to travel, for people who love deeper travel. And so in 2010, we created that name, began to create a brand, and we've decided most recently to modify the name. We're dropping Club Cruises. We did a lot of research in the U.S., UK, the Pan-Anglo markets, and the reason for the name Azamara is simply because we are dramatically expanding our product to introduce literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pre, post, and mid-ship voyage cruises that deal with land packaging. And that will be combined with the cruise.
Now, and also, I mean, just to go back to the name change, you're really changing the name and the logo change. Again, that's to better reflect this land destination emergent product, right?
Right. It's venturing beyond the sea. It's a product that is not fitting in any neat CLIA category, or for that matter, any category against others, because when all is said and done, the fact of the matter is we are adding over 1,700 land products, and I mean 3 to 6 day products, city-intensive programs, overland programs, mid-voyage to leave the ship 1, 2, and 3 days. And in a word, we will have, without any doubt, the most comprehensive pre- and post-program that exists in the cruise industry, irrespective of the size of the cruise line.
No, it's amazing. And, of course, that has led you to create this logo change, too, with not just Azamara, but with sort of a different kind of logo as well, right?
Yeah, the logo is meant to represent a new look and feel that was representative of people who are not only cruisers, but people who are land lovers. And, in fact, James, throughout the years, we've had up to 22% of our guests have never been on a ship, and my guess is that's going to go well above 30 with people who are coming to us because of the unique programming that we've done. And the brand, Azamara, has a clear and concise purpose. It's a brand that was designed to connect people to people and people to cultures, and the only way that you could truly do that is to deliver the destination. And so the logo itself has been redesigned to reflect kind of an open world symbol, signifying infinite travel opportunities for world travel. And it's also connecting both the iconic sorts of places and the off-the-beaten-path destinations. And what is getting us there? The sea. And also you'll see a new star that was the original namesake, Akamar, which means the brightest star in the southern sky and represents the brand's North Star. That's like a compass. It drives balance, direction, and dependability. And categorically, without a doubt, we are a hybrid product in the cruise and also tour industry.
Now let's talk about those. You have 1,700. You'll have 1,700 land programs, and these are pre and post, and they go to all different destinations. What are some of the destinations you're going to be covering?
Well, the destinations are pretty extensive because it'll be over 40 countries. We will be at every embarkation and disembarkation port. There will be programming available. And those will be intensive city stays, or we will have 3 to 6 night programs. And in terms of the countries, they could be from Africa to New Zealand to Japan to France or Italy. I mean, it's just 40 plus countries, and it's everywhere we go. And if you look at our deployment pattern, when we added the Pursuit, the Azamara Pursuit, last year, mid-year, and our third ship, it enabled us with the 3 ships in a 2-year period, hit over 100 countries. But these deployments are designed to connect with land vacations because we just simply determined that the best of sea combined with the best of land cannot be achieved between 8 o'clock in the morning and 6 o'clock in the afternoon, 6 p.m. at night. That's right. Just too short to deliver destination immersion.
Well, you're going to Asia, Africa, Russia, I see Australia, Europe, South America, all these different places. But you're also partnering with a number of really top operators, top ground operators. Talk a little bit about those.
Yeah, so one of the best ways to do this is to realize that you're not an expert at everything, but you use experts. So the best of travel advisors use experts in various products. And we looked at the playing field in all the countries of the world and determined who were some of the best of the best. We started this out with a very, very strong relationship with Mikado.
Right.
And Mikado is just one of the finest outfitters that you can find in South Africa and Africa as a whole. And they're doing our pre and post 5-day programs, which take in a great deal of different parts of Africa for not only wine and culinary, but really, if you're going to see Africa, you've got to see the animals. So they're an example of one, but there are other great companies like Cox and Kings. You can imagine, James, Cox and Kings was established in 1758. It is over 250 years old, 260 years old, actually. And this is a company committed to delivering the highest quality of customized and small group journeys around the world. And a lot of our programming is with them. And then there's companies that all of us know, like Belmont.
Right.
You have the Belmont has great hotels, but they also have the Venice Simplon Orient Express train. And we're talking about very, very upscale. And then there's Cold Tour, 60-plus year company, family-run company in Peru. And there's the Olasky brothers doing this from the 1940s in Italy, all over Italy, in an amazing sort of arena. And Furlong Incoming, which is in Argentina. They're since 1887, but there is a quality that all of these organizations have, and they are quality providers. And we even have some lifestyle kinds of programs with Perry Golf for people who love Perry, and they're one of the world's finest golf companies in the international golf touring arena.
No, and some amazing companies and really very upscale that can deliver some very potent land experiences to your customers. Now, what are some of those experiences? Just give me some examples of what the things that Azamara guests will be doing.
Well, let me start out by saying that a way to think about this, and it's an important way to think about this, is that the travel advisor can think about programming before the cruise and after the cruise, and that's one set of programming, and then programming during a cruise where they can do mid-voyage programming. You also have your standard shore excursions that everybody has, except we don't want what everybody has. We want what delights people and insider access. So the first program we have, pre and post, is called the Land Journey. And those are really unique adventures. And these adventures are really fantastic. And they're kind of an example of appealing to the first-time traveler who wants to get in a 4- or 5-star hotel, but capture kind of unique stays, 3 to 6 nights. Then we have an ultra product, which is really our AzAmazing journeys. Those are once-in-a-lifetime experiences. Those are not for tourists. Those are the deepest of experiences, and they're ultra exclusive. They're also 3 to 6 nights, but small groups, 12 to 18, whereas the Land Journey could be a motor coach, could include boutique inns and lodges. And finally, pre and post, we have Stay Local, which is an in-depth exploration of one city. It's a deep dive.
Right. No, that's some people really would like to get a deep dive of that kind of thing and some of these unique experiences that you have. So sort of, what are the kinds of things that they would be doing, let's say, in these Azamara journeys? I mean, what are some of the actual experiences?
Well, that's a great question. On Mikado, we talked about them. It's kind of the ultimate safari looking at the Big Five, and they're doing a program that also includes South African winelands, and it's a river cruise on the Zambezi River, which is fantastic. There will be railway journeys going to iconic places like Victoria Falls, and, helicopter bits and pieces that are in there. One of my favorite, when I look at them, is a program that's in Borneo searching for the orangutans. And this is where you're taking, a 2.5-hour speedboat journey deep into the jungle. It's very eco-friendly and accommodating to the guests, but it is an example of being introduced to the Mari people and the indigenous people of the region, as well as seeing the amazing orangutans. So when I say, James, we have a lot of programs, I've described just a few. We have options that allow guests over 1,700 choices. And I want to emphasize, I don't care how big the cruise line is, this is the largest program in passenger shipping globally.
Even with cruise lines that have many more ships than you do?
Well, way many. I mean, we have 3. We're a boutique line. Our sister company, Royal Caribbean International, is the largest single cruise line. This is quantum amounts more than they have, and virtually anybody else.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, how many of your Azamara sailings will offer all these land programs? All of them, right?
Every single one of them, and it's a great question again. Every embark and disembarkation point will have a pre and post or a city stay. That's 100%. I might add, this is a product of passion. It's about innovation. It's about imagining what could be in a cruise line. And frankly, those people who are thinking of cruises in a traditional way will be very hard-pressed to match up this product, because this is an experientially focused product. And it is a product that's designed to connect, as I said earlier, people to places.
No, and it really is. And so you already have all these great overnight stays, longer stays, and night touring, plus your famous the AzAmazing evenings, and this just adds to the whole mix, right?
This really adds to the mix, and you've already pointed out that we created AzAmazing evenings from the very beginning, and AzAmazing evenings are still existent. They're included in the tariff. And an AzAmazing evening was a way to get 100% of the guests on a ship on a given evening. And I say evening because a lot of what we're doing is night touring. Please do not be confused by people who say, we've got longer stays too. Please ask them specifically, what is it you are doing? And when you hear a lot of silence, you'll see the difference. This is a company with the AzAmazing evenings that created an experience like taking people to the Tuscan rolling hills out of Livorno, where we would go to the Verrazzano castles, electrify them, and then bring in a historian talking about the fact that it was the David created right there by Michelangelo, and then bringing in the three tenors from the opera house to perform opera. These things cannot be Googled, and Azamara leads the way, and it's the reason we've been a growth company, and it's the reason that the guests love the product.
No, and you really have made the line stand out since you just really focused on destination emergent. I guess one of my questions is, obviously we have these great pre and post, your Azamara journeys and the land programs and everything else. What are all these land programs commissionable to travel advisors?
Yeah, and that's the great thing. It's taken a big effort, a long time to create this. This is not a light switch to create this kind of programming, but I've already identified great partners. All of our land programs are commissionable at a flat 10%. And the golf program is also commissionable. That's at $200 a golfer, where the agent has not only booked the golf, but booked Azamara conjunctively together. So all of these programs are commissionable, and clearly it is a way for us as a line to venture beyond the sea, to set a new standard, and to set ourselves apart. And as you know, we have 3 R-class ships. I mean, there were 8 of them. And one of the things I wanted to make damn sure was that we were all not alike and we were all not doing the same thing. And clearly, we are all doing something way different. And in this case, we're putting together a land programs that are so extensive that we have introduced online. You can go online, you can look at the land program guide. And the guide will go over 6 continents and all of the programming, and you will see the hundreds of options built there. It's absolutely fantastic product, and it's exciting for us to kind of unearth the world.
Yeah, and also makes it much more lucrative for travel advisors to sell, I would think.
Yeah, and James, you hit on another really key point. You know, the agents as advisors communicate. The agents as advisors sell. They offer direction. They offer guidance. They offer coaching. The best agents are very much like a financial advisor in that they're doing a bit of vacation planning in the person's lifestyle. And in our particular case, we have so many products that meet different kinds of lifestyles and meet different kinds of needs. There's a little something for everyone. And as you've mentioned earlier, there's a lot of countries involved and a lot of off-the-grid stuff, from South Africa to South America to Asia, Europe, and frankly, even in North America, as well as in Oceania. We go to places like Tahiti, Australia, and New Zealand. And the programs, when you look at them, you just can't stop but saying, geez, I'd like to do that one. That one would all be interesting. And to your early point and question, yes, the agent is making commission off something where they can stay in the advisory lane rather than getting in the operations lane. It is very cost-effective, efficient, and guest satisfying.
Now, it almost seems like you're turning Azamara into sort of a hybrid cruise and land company. Have you suddenly become a luxury tour operator married to an upmarket cruise line? What's the focus going forward?
Well, the focus is going to be as it's been. As you know, destination immersion is a federally registered trademark. The United States government gave that designation to us based on what we do, which isn't what other people were doing. It has to have substance. And to your question with respect to what are we, it's why the name Club Cruises is being dropped and the name Azamara will go forward. The ships are a conveyance to the deliverables on the ground, and yet the ships themselves are highly satisfying to the guests. The crews are amazing. That's not going away, but we're just getting guests to have the world curated in a more comprehensive fashion than any cruise line in global passenger shipping. And I think it's quite a feat, and it is quite different, and it's different on purpose. I've never been into being conventional.
Yeah.
And that's not going to happen here either. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to get a lot of people to pay attention. And mark my words, members of the cruise industry who are fantastic, there's a lot of amazing product out there. They will try to copy this. And when we do, we have additional programming we've also pre-thought of that we will initiate in the future to be now and in the future the destination leader.
Well, I think you quoted to me the other day a Ralph Waldo Emerson quote. What was that again? It was.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites because it sort of reminds me oftentimes of when I think of business and when I think of the things that I've done. And it's really about following in many ways the road less traveled. So Ralph Waldo Emerson said, do not follow where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. And I love that quote.
Well, you're certainly taking a lot of folks, or will be taking a lot of folks, and have already on some wonderful paths around the world, that's for sure. And it sounds like a great new product, a great new evolution of Azamara, as it were, as you continue to evolve this cruise line. Is there anything else you wanted to tell our travel advisor audience about Azamara, its name, branding change, and, of course, all of the new destination emergent land programs you have to offer?
Yeah, I would just end by saying that Azamara will be a product that will be good for people who are cruisers. Azamara will be a product that will be very good for people who are normally land holiday seekers, because quite candidly, if you can do Japan and you can do one of our special land programs and circumnavigate the whole island, you got the best of both worlds. I want to let the travel advisor know that they can go online at azamara.com, and they will begin to see extensive programming in all the countries. They can also get an electronic land program guide, which will be very extensive. There's also training programs for them, and they'll also find that they can get education with our training online for the agents who wish to do that. So I think there's an awful lot of ways to help the agents to get familiar and more in-depth with Azamara, but I think it starts first with thinking of Azamara as not just a cruise line, but a line that has gotten very involved in being one of the world's destination specialists off the ship with some of the world's finest operators.
And, of course, you have your crew that really delivers such fine service as well, right?
Yeah, the crew is amazing. I mean, I have to tell you, I've been in the business, as you know, for a while, 30 years, and I have had the pleasure of operating some of the finest passenger shipping companies. This is one of the best crews I've ever seen, and by the way, the actual guest response as measured by their voyage analysis after they get off shows this crew is completely amazing because they're authentic. It's real. It's not meant to be a pretentious product. Now, when people ask me oftentimes, is this a luxury product? Well, I can tell you it depends on what you do with the product. If you want to take one of our AzAmazing journeys pre and post, I would argue, no, it's ultra luxury. So we're gonna span this kind of vertical horizon between being very upmarket to being more mid-market. But this is kind of a better and best of the best approach. It's not kind of a good approach. It's well beyond that. And as you know, in the last couple of years, we put over $50 million in these ships individually to make them shine and become contemporized. So I think it's one of the greater values, and what makes it that way is it delivers.
No, and absolutely, between delivering on the onboard product and now this very, very kind of upscale experiential product, I think you're going to draw a lot of interest from a lot of people who are maybe didn't think they wanted to go on a cruise before. So
maybe, James, we'll see you on a New Zealand South Island Alpine Rail in Mount Cook, maybe something like that.
I think you could convince me on that one very easily. New Zealand has always been on my bucket list, and if you have a program that can deliver that, that would be fantastic.
We have a program that can deliver that, and 1,700 in total, the industry's largest accumulation of destination immersive products. And we are delighted that you've taken the time to talk to us today, and hopefully we'll get the opportunity here to educate a lot of travel advisors who can look at Azamara as a different kind of cruise line and a different kind of tour operator.
Well, Larry, thank you very much for taking your time to tell us all about this new product, and we're looking forward to seeing it. And again, I hope everybody out there has had this has given a good idea of what Azamara is up to today and in the future. Larry, thank you very much for your time, and again, we hope to see you soon.
Thanks, James.
All right, thank you. Wow, such an exciting time to be part of such a game-changing brand, and really want to appreciate Larry and James for their time today. So as an exclusive to all of you that joined today, I've been getting a lot of questions here about the land program guide that we have been creating. So in the handout section of the webinar, you will see a link where you can download that and have for yourself. A lot of people have been asking about a printed version. So the team is finalizing everything there, and we're hoping to have that live by the end of the year, so you would have the ability to order that for your clients. So as well, this webinar was recorded. So after this, you will receive a follow-up email with the recorded webinar. And again, the link to that digital land programming guide will also be included in that email. So I know we have a few questions here, so want to try to get to it. I also do have my colleague Karina with me, so she's been wonderful helping setting up all of these exciting land programs. So if there's something I can't answer, I'm going to look to Karina to help here. But let's just take a few minutes. So again, the first question that was here was asking about the land program guide. One question here is asking specifically about a sailing and the AzAmazing evening. Is there a way to find out that special feature when we are looking for options for our customers? So we do post all of our AzAmazing evenings on our website, or you can find that on our Travel Partner Connection page, which is on cruisingpower.com. In the rare event that maybe it hasn't been published yet, it's probably because the team behind the scenes is working on finalizing exactly all the details for that, Laura. So without knowing specifically which voyage it is, if it's not there, it should be very soon that it will be posted. So thank you for that question. I have a question here. Someone asked about anything new and unique for groups. So obviously all of these land programs can be added to groups. The way we've kind of structured these programs to be added now as an add-on makes it so much more user-friendly for you to create a group. You can have, in the past it used to be if you were having a land program, it had to be an all or none. So all the bookings had to have the cruise plus the land. With us opening up this program this way to be booked as an add-on, you could have a mix and match of people who in the group who only want to do the cruise, or those that want to do a cruise plus these different land programs. So it really does give you a lot more flexibility there within your groups. So someone asked, all right, this must be a brand fan, Krista Rose. So when will the senior officer schedule for 2020 be updated? So for those of you that might not know, we do publish our senior officer schedule online. So we do have a loyal following with our loyal guests who like to sail with specific captains or hotel directors or activities directors. So specifically when 2020 will be updated, I will take that back as a question, but I do know the team tries to publish and open that up as soon as possible because we do know our loyal guests love to travel with the likes of a Captain Carl or a Captain Johannes or sailing with a hotel director, Heike, Philip, or Richard. So hopefully I'll have an answer for you, Chris, and we can email that directly to you. Okay, someone asked, do all sailings have an AzAmazing evening? So the answer to that question is all sailings that are 7 nights or longer will have an AzAmazing evening on them. So the majority of our sailings, on average, we're about an 11-night sailing, but we do have occasionally a 3-night or a 5-night sailing, so those would not have an AzAmazing evening, but all sailings, 7 nights or longer, will have an AzAmazing evening. All right, someone asked about accessibility. So for this question, it's all going to depend on which product, land product, in which city your client is interested in. You know, there's also so many different dynamics. It could be, you know, can they take a few steps? Are they completely reliant on a wheelchair? But, you know, our call center team, as well as our accessible department, will be more than happy to help research and figure out which program your client is interested in and whether or not that can be an option for them or not. Okay, so this one, oh, thanks, Lynn. So yes, it is an amazing program, and you know, keeping with the theme of Larry's vision of Destination Immersion, yes, adding 1,700 new land products is truly amazing. So thank you for that. Next question I have here. When are we able to order the land? Oh, we already talked about that one. So what is your return percentage? I think this means for our loyalty guests. So on the last look I had a few months ago, we were in about the 43% range of repeat passengers. So we do have a very loyal following with our clients. Your clients, our guests, sorry about that. And, oh, hey, Sue. So yes, you are correcting me. So on transatlantic crossings as well, there are no AzAmazing evenings. We unfortunately do not have the ability with so many days at sea to do that. So you are absolutely right. And thanks for joining us today, Sue. All right. And one thing I just do not see here, but I just want to make a mention of is these products are all commissionable at 10%. So, you know, once you add them into the booking, they will get paid with your standard cruise commission when final payment is made. So your cruise commission obviously varies depending on your levels of production with RCCL, but all of these land products are commissionable at 10%. The one exception I will say is Perigolf. That is a flat $200 commission that is paid for per golf package that is booked. All right, let me see here. So where do we find the land guide? So again, in the handout section of this webinar, you would see a link where you could download that. And as well, we will send an email after this with the recorded webinar, plus a link to where you will get the land guide, and you can look at all the different 1,700 options we have crafted and created there. Okay, and Florence had a question here. On the mid-voyage sailings, will clients need to be tendered off, or is the ship docked?
It will depend on the itinerary.
Yeah, I'm looking at Karina, so I think it'll all depend on the itinerary. You know, we'd love to have it to where every time the ship is docked, but there could absolutely be some situations where it could be a tender port, either where they are leaving the ship or where they rejoin. It all just is going to depend on which itinerary has that overland. And
They're docked for embarkation, but for overnight experiences, they
okay,
can be tendered.
yeah. So Karina's just mentioning. So if it's a pre package, it would be obviously we are docked for embark and disembark. But yeah, if it's something mid-voyage, you know, there's no guarantee it will be a dock or a tender. It just all depends on the itinerary. So someone, hey John, any ship refurbishments going on soon? So the Azamara Quest was actually just in about an 8-day dry dock in Singapore at the end of March. The Journey, of course, had gone through an extensive dry dock in January 2018, and her next dry dock will be at the end of 2020. And then, of course, the Azamara Pursuit, when she came into our family last year, went through an extensive dry dock to kind of bring her up to the Azamara standards. And she, obviously, that was just completed last year, so the next time Pursuit would have a dry dock, I believe, is in 2021. So let me just see here. So any rates for singles? So Karen, we do have single supplement rates. It varies. You just need to go onto our website or as well onto our Travel Partner Connection page on Cruising Power, and we do have a flyer there for the single rates. And, sorry, still looking at where do we find the land guide, so I think we covered that one. And so one question that someone had asked previously, and I guess it's just not showing up here, and you know, I see Linda's asking this, when does it actually roll out? So we will actually have many of these products that are starting in Q4 2019, specifically in October. So that's when we're kind of doing this huge ramp up. If you had a booking that was made, you know, a year ago or 9 months ago, and they now have these new land programs on, since it is an add-on, you can easily now just add that back, add that onto their cruise booking. So it's a great way for you to review the land guide and see if there's any options that your clients might have coming up. One question we want to just bring up here about the visa policy. So, you know, it's really important for us during this process, since we're doing a lot of these off-the-ship experiences, that we do need to make sure we get the passport details for your clients confirmed at time of booking. That really will just help us make sure we're verifying that they have, if there is any visas that they might need, any forms they might need to fill out, if there's any fees based on their nationality. So, you know, that's something I would just ask all of you to just make sure when you're adding these land programs onto your cruise, to just make sure you do have your client's passport details and can provide that to us.
And if they're not booking their flights with Azamara, if they're booking flights independently, to provide the flight detail information in order to have the transfer.
No, that's a good point Karina just brought up too. So if they're booking independent air with us, you know, we definitely need to be looped into that, because, you know, these will be including, you know, transfers, and we just need to make sure, you know, it's a seamless package for your clients, no friction, that, you know, they're being met at the airport, or they will be, you know, they get back to the airport at the right time when they are going to be flying home. So
please input the flight information.
yeah, so we do need the flight information. All right. So Margaret had asked about any FAMs. So Margaret, I would just encourage you to make sure, you're signed up for emails with the Cruising Power to receive from Azamara. And as well, if you want to make sure you just reach out to your strategic business development manager, and they will definitely be able to help identify any FAMs that we might have. If you do not know who your strategic business development manager is, we actually do have a nice sales team coverage map on the Travel Partner Connection page for Azamara on Cruising Power. So you can definitely go there, Margaret, to find that out. Will you let us know when we book if our clients will need visas? So yes, when at the time of booking, when you're adding these land packages, we would definitely be able to advise if any visas would be needed. If it's not on that phone call, we will be doing our checks behind the scenes just to make sure nothing has been missed.
The guests should also check their consulate depending on what nationality, where they're traveling.
Yeah, and Karina's just making sure to, you know, just to make sure, double check the guests checking with the embassy of each country. But I would say, you know, from my perspective, one unique country that had always required a visa, which as of this month no longer does, which is Brazil. So, you know, that's kind of a good news, and I think you can all appreciate this stuff keeps changing fast and furious. But, you know, as sooner you can let us know the nationality and the passport details of the consumer, of your client, we can definitely help you and assist in determining if a visa is needed. So Laura also asked if clients are sailing on another RCCL brand, can they do the Azamara land options? At this point, unfortunately, no. They will need to book an Azamara voyage to be able to add on these land programs.
And that's another question that comes up. Can you buy it separately? At this point, no, it needs to be, they need to have.
Yeah, and Karina's making a point here. So excluding the RCCL brands, can a guest just purchase a land program on their own without the cruise? And the answer at this point is no. It still needs to be booked with a cruise and a land package. All right, and so Karina, someone's asked, are transfers available if you arrive 2 days early for airport to pre-hotel? So Lynn, I'm assuming they're buying the land package. So if they do buy the land package, the transfer is included from the airport to whatever pre-experience your client would have. Okay, and I'll look to Karina to kind of say this one. So this is from Jean. She's asking, can you just define the 3 different land package categories that we have? So what is the pre, what is the post, and what is the mid-cruise?
Oh, that's the question? What is the pre, what is the post, what is mid-cruise?
Yeah, so the 3 different ones that Larry talked about,
okay.
just talking about the 3 different options we have.
Okay, so the new land programs are available pre and post.
Okay.
The new land programs, we have a few categories, or buckets, if you will, which is what I believe you're referring to, Larry had spoken about. We have the AzAmazing journeys, we have the land journeys, and we have the state locals. So these are 3 buckets within the new land program, which are available pre and post. For the differences between these categories, the AzAmazing journeys are, carefully curated programs. They're small, intimate groups led by expert guides. You'll get fully dive into local culture. You'll have interactive experiences with local independent specialists. And these feature AzAmazing moments. They're off the beaten path, and they're from 5-star hotels onwards. Our land journey category, these programs allow guests to see the cities from a different vantage point, so it reveals both hidden gems and iconic landmarks. They're 3 to 6 nights. They offer a wider group size filled with like-minded travel enthusiasts, and they're from 4 to 5-star hotels or boutique hotels, etc. And our stay local are 2-night or 3-night. And these are basically our city stays, our city immersives. These are for guests who have a little bit less time but still want to get to know the city prior or after their cruise. So they're intensive crash course in the city of embarkation or disembarkation. As far as within the cruise itself, these are our overnight experiences. These are part of the shore excursion programs. And for these, they can be booked online, and these are leaving one port and coming back the next day or perhaps 2 or 3 days later within the cruise. I hope that answers the question.
All right. Thank you, Karina. Okay, I think this will be the last question. This has been a hot topic lately. So any updates? So this is from Colleen and also from Dana asking about Cuba sailings and how they have been arranged. So I think it's no secret. Unfortunately, Cuba is no longer a destination for the cruise industry. Obviously, Azamara, based on our ship size, was the perfect option to get into Havana and the other ports of call that we sailed to. All of that changed earlier this month. So what we have done, we had 3 Cuba sailings at the end of 2019, and we had 5 Cuba sailings that were in Q2 2020. So for the 3 sailings at the end of in November and December this year, we have rechanged those itineraries. So they used to be all Miami round trip. We have now introduced some Miami to San Juan. We're doing 2 7-night San Juan sailings, and then another San Juan back to Miami, and then we will be doing a holiday Miami to Los Angeles Panama Canal cruise. For the March and April Cuba cruises that we did have on the Pursuit, those itineraries have now been changed, and we will be heading to Europe earlier. So towards the end of March, we will be having our transatlantic, and we'll be heading over to Europe earlier. So if you did have any clients that were booked on them, we did send the redeployment letters to everyone. And if you are missing something, you didn't get the email, please, reach out to the call center. They have all the details as to options that we can offer for your clients. But I think that's it. This has been an exciting webinar. I really want to thank James and Larry for their time. Thank you, Karina, for joining me. What a great day and exciting to be a part of Azamara. So thank you again, everyone, for joining, and have an AzAmazing day.